Everybody, happy Wednesday, and welcome to another edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, coming to you from the respective man caves today. We were trying to get out to do a Visit Lauderdale edition in celebration of the second of two semifinal World Cup matches between Morocco and France. That's coming up later today, but everything blew up in my face yesterday. So here we are at home, but I'm very happy to introduce a special guest today because Defo is still gallivanting in the Bahamas, leading the international jet set life that he's become accustomed to, while me and Lubie toil relentlessly till the upcoming holidays. But without further ado, friend of the show and all-around good guy, former restaurateur, good chef, foodie, former sports agent also, so he fits right in here with the food and sports talk. Joe Casale. How are you today, Joe?
Hello, Mr. Mike. He pulled me. I was waiting for the little Datsun bullpen car. We can date ourselves and come out with the roll.
Yeah, well, here we are. And where's Tasso? He's really the real star of Delray Beach these days. You haven't.
Tasso is sitting in his kennel to keep him from charging the doors during the segment. So he's sitting with his toy, actually quiet, as I look over, and he's giving me the stink eye. But it's tough out there. Got to chill out.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. The reason I thought of you, because you write some really provocative and just well-written Facebook posts. You don't have a blog. You just kind of send it out into the Facebook
that became
social
my
media
blog.
world.
The only reason why I got on Facebook, blog.
Yeah, and you've met lots of people that way and reconnected with people and friends, and made friends, including me and Defo. And it's been a wonderful ride this year, getting to see you out and about at different events and coming out to the pizza spot with us earlier this year. And I haven't asked you yet, but with the holidays coming up, we had this big I think we're going to do a grand tasting kind of year-end special edition about jarred spaghetti sauce, which Defo has a thing with jarred spaghetti sauce, and I happen to be in the same boat. I love sampling and trying all the different kinds of spaghetti sauces out there. Now, you might think that's an affront as an Italian who likes to, I imagine, simmer his own sauce, right?
Yeah, but it's kind of like there's so much time in a day, and sometimes you got to go to the jarred sauce because it's the anal part of me that always has at some point. It's like the old story, like you always want to change your underwear. An accident for me, if somebody came into the house and there was no sauce in the house, that way. So there's always 2 or 3 containers in there. But I was me. I've not tasted Carbone's, so I don't know how that one is. But of all, Martorano's is good, but consistently, Rayo's I found to be the few things too, but to jazz it up a bit. Rayo's would be my go-to jar.
Yeah, Rayo's sauce, which also is one of the premium ones, a little bit more expensive, but in my mind, worth it because it is tasting it. It tastes like kind of Nona used to make. The other one that I agree with your top 2 with the Martorano's local guy, Steve Martorano, and he jarred his sauce, and then Rayo's is great. Have you tried Michael's of Brooklyn jarred sauce?
I have not.
That's my number 2. Yeah, and the fun fact with that, it's a place in Brooklyn. It was actually really close to the neighborhood where I grew up, and I celebrated my 50th birthday at Michael's of Brooklyn. And
very cool.
And the fun fact is the owners of that establishment are cousins, family members of one Anthony Bruno of Anthony's Runway 84 and Anthony's Coal-Fired Pizza fame down here. known Anthony a long time, and he told me that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know that place." And so now I tried the sauce
awesome.
on the I tried the sauce on the jar on the shelves of Publix, and it's good stuff, especially their arrabbiata sauce, and they have it's good. I still rank Rayo's a little bit above it. I did sneak a taste of the carbone that I bought, or actually I got given to me because they mispriced it. There was a labeling pricing snafu at my local Publix, and they made good on their Publix promise because it wasn't ringing up at the advertised special rate. So they just handed me the jar for nothing, which is my favorite price at Publix these days. And even though we're going to be doing a blind taste test later in the month, and I'm planning on doing it at Pizza Spot at one of their picnic tables and just get a whole array of different sauces. And I think Wade will be, nice enough to let us, he lets people bring in their own beer from across the street that
You're bringing in your own sauce.
So, I'm not going to make a pizza with any of the sauce, but I will order some of his cheesy bread, his cheesy garlic bread, to dunk in some of these sauces. But I hope you could take part.
That's a very Seinfeld-esque move. To place with a bag full of sauces, just put sauces and have a few Peronis and let's go.
Yeah. Oh, and I meant to say, Joe, in honor of your appearance today, look what I got. I'm going to be having on the show. I have a bottle of Peroni, which people who follow your Facebook postings and blogs know that is the beverage of choice for Joe Casale.
That is the beverage of choice at Casa Casale.
Particularly in honor of the
when it's Publix.
Nice. Yes, when it's BOGO. That's the only time we like Publix these days.
That's it.
Now, in honor of the upcoming match, the semifinal pitting Morocco versus France, I made I just kind of whipped together a little lunch because people seem to like the lunchbox better when I'm stuffing my face with food. It seems to dry up. The interest dries up if I'm just sitting here droning on. So today I just whipped up a little it's couscous with some rotisserie chicken. I simmered it in a little chicken stock. They say to do it in water, but I always do it in chicken broth. It gives it a little more flavor. And in honor of you, Joe, the other thing I did was I put a couple of dashes of my Louisiana hot sauce.
Nice.
And that gives it a little flavor. So, I don't know if you've been following the World Cup, Joe. Defo likes to trash the international football. I love it. I think this is a great event, even though I don't necessarily love the place where it's being held or the people who organize and run it. But when it comes to the actual games and the competition, I just think it's fantastic the way entire countries live, breathe, and die with every run up and down the pitch. What's your opinion of the World Cup in general? And the game upcoming, do you have a preference or favorite of who you're rooting for?
I'm not a huge soccer guy, but I got in one of those brackets, and I picked.
You're betting on the World Cup. I love it.
I picked Argentina and France in the
wow, good for you.
Final. So, as this thing is going along, I'm not following it that much, but yesterday I decided I'm kind of in this thing and watch Messi do his thing. He's worth the price of admission, and all was going through my mind. This guy's going to go from the World Cup to Commercial Boulevard.
Yes, Miami. The Inter-Miami thing may be off. I mean, after what he's done in this World Cup.
As I was watching him yesterday. And I'm drooling couscous now.
It's not even like in Miami or Biscayne. It's literally, you're right. He's playing it with the dry pink. That's play their game.
Hey, don't.
I love it. I know they do a lot of things with Visit Lauderdale, and I think it's a great. I'm born and raised in Sunrise. I've been to that establishment a lot for a lot of high school games. It's a great. It used to be Lockhart. It's had a lot of iterations. But Messi plays at Barcelona. He plays Real Madrid. He's not playing in front of little Argentina, they're calling it. That's a big move to go from here to there.
I just thought it was hilarious. Messi is going to go from champion to Commercial Boulevard.
Well, the thing, as I was watching yesterday, and I was watching at a local Argentinian restaurant, or do you say Argentine restaurant on Las Olas Boulevard? That place I went earlier in the cup, the Barry's Grill. I guess it's short for Buenos Aires, but I was in there. Place was packed. But as he's running up and down the field and he's giving these great assists, and he can still strike the ball as well as ever, as evidenced on that penalty kick that he drilled in that upper right corner. I mean, that's impressive. And I'm just thinking to myself, why the heck won't any major power, soccer power, in whether it's the Premier League in England or, any of the European leagues or even anything in South America, why wouldn't they want to still have him? He seems like Tom Brady, right? I mean, the guy keeps going.
Yeah, yesterday.
As opposed to Ronaldo. See, Ronaldo from Portugal clearly has lost a step, and he's in,
Ronaldo
denial, prima donna mode.
The weekend leagues, and the guys.
Well, we might end up with Ronaldo. Yeah, depending on how it shakes out, we might end up with Ronaldo at Drive Pink Stadium, and believe me, the guy can drive some pink, I imagine. But
it's pretty amazing.
So
I mean, the World Cup is really fun, even if you're not into of it. I mean, where it's being held, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But it's the great thing about South Florida is it's a melting pot places, and get swept up in the whole action of it because it's Brazilians and Argentines and French and that.
Yeah, it's quite the polyglot down here, and I gotta admit, I think France has won 2 of the last 3. I'm a spread the wealth guy, and I hate to break up your brackets. Is there big money involved? Is this a betting pool, or is it for bragging rights?
Yeah, I mean, it'll cover Christmas.
All right. It'll pick up the feast, some of the lobsters. All right. Well, I hate to root against you, but I kind of like the whole Moroccan story and the first team from Africa to make it through to the semis. Morocco.
I know about the World Cup going into this is that Messi is great, and France always finds a way to get in the final. They always find a way to make something happen when you don't expect it. And we Italian and then fire the coach or whack them, whatever comes first, falls short. But I think it's a great spectacle. As somebody who's a sports person, I like events. The events are what make it fun. And it's one of those. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier this morning. I'm going to be 60 to make my sports bucket list as I start winding down in my career. Things I do, like the Masters or a Winter Olympics. I've done summer wins, and the World Cup, depending on where it's held, would definitely be on my list because it's
the old bucket list. It's the only major. Well, actually, there's 2 major sporting events I never got to cover or attend in my sports writing career, which some people actually remember. But I never got to cover a Wimbledon because Charles Bricker was always the tennis writer. And even though I've done several trips overseas to the British Open and the golf tournaments over there, I never got to do Wimbledon. And obviously you did a lot of that because you were a tennis agent. But and I never did the men's World Cup. I did the Women's World Cup. There's Tasso. Hi, Tasso. Very happy holidays. But I did do the Women's World Cup final at the Rose Bowl. I believe it was 1998, where the U.S. beat China in the penalty kicks, and Brandy Chastain scored the winner. And she ripped off her top and had the sports bra. And that was a great event. And even though it was the women, and people don't, give them the same respect, it was a great game, and it really captivated the country. And I believe there were 98,000 people in the Rose Bowl that day. It was a great spectacle. Also, cool. I'm glad I got to do that one. Hey, so the reason I kind of thought of you today is because you wrote a very poignant post today about the recent loss, and it's tragically young. Somebody I didn't realize that was one of your friends, Mike Leach, the coach at
Yeah.
Mississippi State, who not exactly sure what happened, but he had some sort of a health event on Sunday. Ended up getting airlifted to a hospital, and then ended up dying the next morning or next day. Just tell us a little bit about your relationship with him, which I didn't realize.
Mike was a unique guy. I mean, after I sold my firm, I was doing some broadcast work on air and some podcast clients. So I would travel and do college games and pro games. And I first met Mike when he was offensive coordinator at Oklahoma, and it was kind of one of those brief. You're at a coaches convention, and
right.
You
Just
hey,
superficial.
Mike, you kind of one of those deals, and that was it. It was nothing job at Texas Tech, and we were doing a Texas Tech Oklahoma game. Have a meeting with the coaches, and Gary Barnett, who was our color guy, was a former coach. I said, "Come on, let's go to Mike's office. I'll introduce you to him." I said, "Well, I met him a few years back." We go into his office, and it was like going into Pirates of the Caribbean.
It was massive.
And all it is pirate stuff, And I'm kind of like going, "This is coach's offices that I've been to," And comes in, and we start talking a few minutes of football, and Gary says to me, he's, and we start talking, and then Mike told a great story. He was a practicing attorney, good money, and two small kids. Comes home, says, "Listen, here's where I'm at in my life. We can keep doing this and the rest of my life, but I'll provide a great income for our family, or I really love to do, and we'll be broke." And that's being a football coach.
So why is it that so many lawyers are you a lawyer, by the way? Were you ever a member of the bar?
Yeah.
So why is it that so many lawyers hate being lawyers and end up doing other things? I see that all the time.
Time in it, and then
well, you know what it is? It's the people, like owning a restaurant and you sell it because you get sick of the customers. What happens is between the clients and just the entire profession, it just rhymed. And my brother, who has been a lawyer 47 years, he's just retired. He loved it. He loved the whole. He reminded me of, like, you think of a guy like Don Shula, coach forever, Belichick. They all love the process. Me, I hated the process. I'm a results person. Process grinds you down. And for me, being in the sports end of it, started my business when I was in law school, which kind of pissed off half the professors. And the other half thought, geez, he's entrepreneurial. Isn't that cool? So it just wasn't always going to be for me. I mean, I did it from the straight, and I was kind of like Leach in the sense that I wanted to follow my passions in sports. So he still got into coaching, and
he did pretty well.
And then it just, it all evolved. And who knew what coaches were going to be earning 30 when he got into it?
It's crazy, right? When he started, it was barely
Mike
living.
And I maintained that was talking, and we just hit it off, and when it got up to leave, he said to me, "This is my ever around again, we'll get together." And so we just stayed in touch, and then he got the Washington State job. A little unknown story, when Howard Schnellenberger retired, they offered a job to Mike. And Craig Angelos, who was the athletic director at the time, was Mike. But we just stayed in touch over the years, maybe talk to you kind of thing. And then I last talked to Mike in August, and on a couple of different things that I'm doing, and he was curious about. And then he started, and I said, I'm not doing games in Starkville. I got a headache from all those cowbells. Mississippi State, it's all cowbells. And he just
more cowbell.
Like, oh my God. Yeah, I did where Mike was the coach. It was an Auburn, Mississippi State game. And by half, I was just headache from all the damn cowbells. So I joked. I said,
bring the Peronis to kind of soothe the.
I'll do a road game, you know. And then, you know, I heard Monday night didn't know he had heart problems. Evidently, he had heart problems. You kind of know when you read things online when something is really, because things get really quiet and then people just throw out wild speculation. You know, it's not like there's this immediate statement coming out from his family or, you know, he's okay, that kind of thing. He just knew it was bad. Yeah. It was one of those that unfortunately, you know, he passed.
Yeah, no, it's you know, rest in peace, Mike Leach.
It's really an eccentric character. You know, one of the things, you know, in 2012, I was working a Patriots Rams game in London over by a tractor trailer truck that
right, you barely survived, and we're glad you're still here. That's, you know,
and didn't walk for it. It took me a year to walk again. And Mike was that would call and see how I'm doing, and he ended up calling almost every month. And so you know, that always stuck with me. He was just a good guy, you know, and you know, just sad. I mean, he was a unique character because he didn't fit, you know, and he played on that eccentricity stuff a little bit. You know, it's kind of like the who, you know, is being intentionally, you know, cost.
It made him different. You know, it's a marketing ploy, and but in this day and age, there's some people you got to do that. Right? You got to stand out.
Mike really was a deeper thinker. He was sit down and talk X's and O's for, you know, 4 hours, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you how great I am. And geez, can you put in a word I'm really interested in? And you know, he wasn't that kind of dude. You know, he kind of rolled with his, and that always drew me to him because I like people like that in sports. We don't have actors anymore in sports. You know, I think social media took a lot of that. Everybody's so afraid of screwing up and getting, you know, and having it go viral that we don't have a lot of those kind of dudes anymore. You know, Lane Kiffin is one of those I don't give a shit guys. This is who I am, and you know, like it. It's drawn to those people because when I got into this 40, it was about being characters. You know, when I was 19 years old, I was in New York doing Knicks and Rangers games, and in that time, you you talk to a guy, you would walk up to a guy. It wasn't like, hey, you're a person because Phil Esposito really doesn't want to talk to you right now. It was a tape recorder, and this kid, and you shake the tape recorder because you're nervous, and he'd look at you and say, just ask me anything, relax. And then you see him in Charlie O's, you know, and that's how you develop relationships. And as you know, and those relationships anymore, you know, I mean,
it's gotten too stratified, the money difference and everything,
it's all
and
stuff. So it's very different. So I come from an era of really and that was the fun stuff, you know, and it was really funny. Earlier, I did a Thursday night Dolphins game earlier in the year, 72 team. You know, Mercury Morris came in the booth. And Mercury Morris was one of the first autographs that I ever asked for. And he gave it to me. Fontainebleau Hotel. I was on a family vacation. And I told him that. I'll pull back, like, you know, and he said, you know, you don't realize the little things you do back to haunt you or come back to put a smile on your face. And Real Morris was my favorite Dolphin from the 72 team simply because he signed a 14, you know.
Right. It's those little human contacts.
Those kind of things. And it's not, you're not looking to go on social media and auction it off or any of that. I was reading just before I came on the air here. kid that caught Aaron Judge's 67 or 61st or 62nd home run, he was asking $3 million, like 2.5. He turned it down. He went to auction, and now the highest bid is, and I'm saying to myself, it's just like there is sports today personified. You catch a baseball, you get a chance to make $3 million, $500,000, and you turn it down because you're looking for more, and now you're gonna get under $1 million after all the fees and everything, and it's not.
Well, it's the opposite. It's the karma boomerang there, because Aaron Judge bet on himself and won. This guy bet on himself and lost big time, which is what he deserves for being a greedy SOB.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe. I appreciate. I want to get into it just before I let you go. Just the holidays, because you're a big holiday guy and you love to cook. You used to own a restaurant, co-own a restaurant up in Delray Beach. For people who might not know, so you have food cred. What's going to be happening for the holidays? You love to cook,
big
right?
Day is Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. That's the one that, even growing up, my grandmother would cook for 40 to 50 people. She would just literally open the door to the house, whoever came in. And ate. And there was a guy that came when I was growing up. This guy was a friend of my uncle's. None of us ever once a year, and Christmas Eve, he was this tall, skinny guy, had long hair. In her Italian accent, named him Long Hair. Like sit down, make a seat for his name. The guy came like 15 years in a row. We never knew his name. We just knew him as Long Hair. My grandmother, it was good enough for us. So all of us just called them long hairs. So what I do was linguine with lobster sauce on Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. So basically, that's her recipe. Jazzed it up a little bit, changed some things over the years. But spread, it'll be between 20 and 25 people this year.
Nice.
It's antipasta. It's the same menu every year. I do a big antipasto. I do shrimp sauce, a shrimp cocktail, linguine and lobster sauce, tiramisu. It's nice. It's a lot of fun.
Traditions are great, and making the same thing every year, I think, is a wonderful thing, because it's all about tradition and ritual.
Yeah, and with COVID and everything, because with COVID and everything else. So this is the first time in just doing the whole big bash. So that's going to be.
I'm sure.
I got to work Dolphins and Packers, so I'll be.
Nice.
Oh, that's the next morning, so you got to take it easy the night before. You can't indulge in too many of the Peronis, but I'm sure you'll be able to
turn around in the espresso machine will be cranking.
Yeah, because that's a 1:00 game on Christmas Day, which for those of us who do the Feast of the Seven Fishes or midnight mass, not so easy. I know you invited me, and I'm very, very touched. I don't know yet. I'm a maybe, because Michelle B. best ex-wife ever, traditionally cooks Christmas Eve. She was making some noise this year about not wanting to cook both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So that's why I'm a maybe. If she actually pulls through with not cooking Christmas Eve, because I don't know if she's bluffing. She usually pulls this every year after Thanksgiving, the whole martyr act. It's too much work. I hate it, but she loves it. She secretly loves it. So I will let you know as soon as I know, because I can never say no to going over to Michelle's. Because if I say no to Michelle one time, I will never get an invite again, and I can't give up that seat, because she cooks too well. So. Joe, hey, here's a toast to you of Peroni. Thanks for stopping by the show today. Yeah, and hopefully we'll see you at some point in the holidays, either at the big Christmas Eve feast or maybe the following week when we have our big sauce fest. Is it sauce or gravy, Joe? What do you call
Sounds
it?
Good.
Sauce or gravy? All right. Yeah, we'll see you at the pizza spot at some point.
Mike, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay.
All right, Joe, thank you.
All right. Well, that was Joe Casale. Apologize for a little bit of the choppiness of
doing the phone thing. The phone on Restream can be a good time. So, interesting guy. He's living an interesting life. The fact, lawyer with sports agent.
And that's why. A restaurateur, lawyer, agent. Yeah, and just an all-around good guy, and a sports fanatic. He loves watching. I didn't even get into the whole Yankees and New Orleans Saints, and New Orleans is his favorite town. It's his adopted town. It's where he got his dog Tasso, named for the famous Louisiana ham. So anyway, it's Joe C. Thanks for stopping by. Defoe's going to be back tomorrow.
Yes.
Meantime, I'm going to talk a little bit about, well, last night I had a good time. I got an invite to they had a preview dinner for the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival.
Nice.
And it was quite the nice time over at this little place called TRP Taste. It's the restaurant people in Fort Lauderdale who have all these restaurants that are taking part in the festival, including S3 Restaurant on the beach, where they're going to be having one of those intimate dinners earlier in the week. I think it's on the Thursday night, the 12th of January. S3 is doing their intimate dinner, and all the restaurant people restaurants are going to be taking part in the grand tasting, including the Boatyard, which is down by 17th Street, and also the YOLO, You Only Live Once restaurant is down on Las Olas. That's theirs. S3. And this TRP Taste is their little kind of workshop showcase place where they do these kind of special dinners. They bring in visiting chefs and stuff like that. But last night they had their own chefs from the various restaurants come in, including the head corporate chef for Restaurant People, Chris Miracolo. Good guy. And we had a 5-course feast and had some good wine and had some cocktails. The mixologist was there. Saw Kate from the festival. Phil's a little bit under the weather. Apparently there's a nasty bug going around, so he wasn't able to attend. And but it was fun because there was various influencers from around town and people who have blogs and Instagram followings, and they're all very nice people. And like I just say, "Oh, I'm nobody, I'm nothing," and everybody says, "Oh, we know you."
Yeah,
like
that's
everybody.
You're the one that they know.
And I try to go very incognito, but meanwhile, it was like, this Let's Eat South Florida group, which we're simulcasting on, and it's almost now getting up to 95,000 people. Soon it'll be at 100,000, which just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And but people are coming up to say, they're talking about, well, there was like a crew from Deco Drive there last night that Channel 7 that was filming the mixologist making a couple of cocktails because they were promoting the bar battle event that's going to be on Wednesday, January 11th. And the Restaurant People's lead mixologist who works at that rooftop. It's called, I think it's called One West Las Olas Rooftop that they have there. It's really, have you ever been in there? It's a nice spot.
Yeah, I've been there. It's nice. Yeah.
It's a place that I can imagine Shirley would like it a lot because it has.
I have not been with my wife, but I presume she loves it. She likes Las Olas a lot. Yes.
Yeah. But it was the mixologist. I think it was Tony was mixing up some nice drinks, and we had a grand old time. But there was a crew from Deco Drive filming him doing something before the dinner started, and the cameraman for Channel 7, who I hadn't known because he does a lot of work with Deco Drive and he's not out and about on the news scene, but very nice gentleman named Matthew. He walks up to me and he goes, "Man, I do my shopping for my eggs at Winn-Dixie." He's like, he's one of these guys who was but he's a avid follower of the Let's Eat group, and he was just knew every in and out of the eggs. And then somebody else was commenting him on the other influencer was talking about my quarter pounder with cheese that was medium rare. I mean, these guys like they know my post better than I do. I was like, I can't even remember what I did 2 minutes ago, and they're coming up with these posts that I did. So, and that's kind of a flattering feeling. It makes me feel like either useful or important or not forgotten, and all those things. Nice.
Yeah, we felt it for years, and it's cool that we're feeling it now. And I can't wait for everything with the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. It's going to be amazing.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a grand old time there, and so it was a preview event, and we had some great dishes. They did those swinging tomahawk steaks that they serve at YOLO, these huge bone-in ribeyes. I posted on my Instagram account. I'll post it on the Let's Eat group later, but huge swinging tenderloins, which then they light a flame to kind of give it the final char with this glaze, and then they slice them up, and it came out beautiful, medium rare to medium rare, and really good quality beef over just nice, mashed potatoes, sauteed mushrooms, demi-glace sauce, like straight up, nothing too, wasn't too chefy. It was just straight up good meat and potatoes. That was a great dish. And they also had and that they serve at Yolo. And then they had this Chilean sea bass with a miso glaze
Nice.
with a kind of crispy shiitake mushrooms that gave a good smoky earthiness, and that was one of my favorite parts of the night. All kinds of good stuff. And that's from S3, and we're going to be doing a show at S3 with Tim Petrillo, who's the president of the Restaurant People, in a couple of weeks. I think we're down for January 4th to do a visit Lauderdale and just kind of be promoting the festival with Tim. Tim is one of the major movers and shakers of the local food and beverage scene. Good guy too. So looking forward to that. But meanwhile, you should get your tickets right now to all of these events. Go to vlfoodwine.com. That's VL like Visit Lauderdale Foodwine.com, and you could get tickets to the intimate dinners that are going on throughout the week, including at the Catherine. Our friends Timon and Marissa will be having a dinner on a Tuesday. Monday night, earlier in the week, it's a kickoff event at the Heritage Restaurant. Great Italian food there. And then, of course, there's going to be events at let's see, the Funguda. They're doing a lower priced beer and food pairing on that Thursday night, just $99 for that one. And we want to get into Funky Buddha in the next couple of weeks too, because it's a great place, great local successor. vlfoodwine.com. Click on the signature events for the big events that's going to be coming up, and those are the bar fight competition January 11th, the Smithfield poolside barbecue battle, that's on Friday the 13th at the Hyatt Centric Hotel, and then the grand tasting at Los Olas Oceanside Park right there, A1A and Los Olas Boulevard, Saturday, January 14th. Tickets to all those events, if you go online and purchase them and put in the promo code Lunchbox, you get an extra 15% off. It's going to be fantastic time to be there. Both Defo, Lubie, and myself milling, grazing, eating, and I'll be doing some judging. I guess they still respect my palate, which is nice too. So vlfoodwine.com makes a great stocking stuffer. Go online now, get your tickets, and remember to use the Lunchbox promo code.
The famous, in your book, the infamous for his eating habits in our book, Mike Mayo, and Mike Mayo's Lunchbox returns after these messages.
Couscous. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans. For 30 years, they've been doing a great job. The original location, West Side, 3303 Sheridan Street, just across from TY Park in Hollywood. And there's the East Side location, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late in both locations. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back on the Lunchbox. It's a Wednesday. It's a Visit Lauderdale Wednesday. We will be going out and about with Nikki Mohan in the next couple of weeks and checking out some of the different variety of places. I mentioned yesterday, I watched the end of the Argentina game, and they had a 3-0 drubbing of Croatia. Sorry for the people over at Nikita's Cafe. I know they're just crushed, crying in their slivovitz today. But went to that Barry's Grill on Las Olas, and it was kind of neat because Jim Sarni had told me that when the Argentine team was in for, they played like some friendly match pretty close to the World Cup, I think just the month before, at the at the Hard Rock Stadium. I forgot who they played against, but all I know is that they stayed at the Meridian Hotel near me in Dania Beach, and I didn't know. I thought like a visiting head of state was there because they had so much security. They had literally like round the clock BSO cruisers parked outside the entrance to the hotel to not allow people to get in. And I didn't know who was staying there, and eventually my daughter, through her friend, said, "Oh yeah, Messi is staying there." They were there at Dania Beach. They stayed in Broward before the game, and Sarni told me that after they, I guess, won that match, they went to celebrate at the Barry's Grill in Miami because it has like, I think, 3 locations down here. It's a chain out of Argentina. And you went there and you said that you had the good Milanese steak. I had a good Milanese chicken the other week. Yesterday, I had a nice carpaccio platter along with some cocktails. But Sarni ended up being wrong. I'm very surprised because usually he's 100% on all his facts. But the team did not go to the Barry's Grill in Miami. They actually went to the Barry's Grill on Las Olas, because I know this because I was chatting up the manager, Leo, yesterday after the game, because I'd like to do a show in there, hopefully after Argentina wins it all and celebrates their first World Cup victory since 1986. And I was talking about it, and he says, "Oh yeah, the team and Messi came here." He whips out his phone, and he shows me this picture of him standing right next to the man, the legend himself, which was pretty cool because this guy was born after Leo, the manager, was born, I think, in '92. It was after the team had already won its last title. He's never been alive for a victory, and Messi has never won one. And can you imagine, like, if you're a restaurant manager and you just get to take a picture with LeBron or Michael Jordan or something like that? So when he showed me that picture, I got excited. I was like, wow, that is so cool. I said, we got to come and do a show here. So we're trying to line that up because it's one of these corporate chains that got to go up the corporate ladder. But hopefully next week sometime we will do the Barry's Grill and get to chat with Leo, the manager, about what it's like to meet a legend. So that's next week. Tomorrow we're going to be at Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach for our monthly, and we're going to be talking about Hanukkah and getting prepared for the big festival of lights, 8 crazy nights. latkes and dreidels and all kinds of fun stuff. And we'll be talking and I'm sure eating some potato latkes. And Defo's supposed to be back tomorrow. That's
You
good.
will be back. Yes, sir.
And it's going to be an action-packed show because we're also going to talk a little bit at the beginning of the show over the video screen to the defending barbecue battle champion, Ed Randolph from New York, upstate New York area, Poughkeepsie, I think. And we'll talk a little barbecue with him. He'll be talking brisket, but not the kind that Booby used to make. This is
Like the Texas,
the serious Texas.
brisket.
Yeah, but so that'll be tomorrow. And then of course, Friday back out at Gulfstream Park. If anybody wants to join us out there, it's a lot of fun by the paddock. And we'll be doing another weekly contest, giving away a pair of Sunday brunch tickets to the 10 Palms restaurant there at Gulfstream Park overlooking the track. That went really well last week. We'll come up with another brain teaser restaurant trivia question that you can answer and then pick the winner of the Saturday feature. And if you get both right, you're eligible for a drawing, or if you're the only one that's right, then you win the pair of tickets. So we'll get the hang of it as we go along. Lubie, anything going on in your world food wise the last 24 hours, or just kind of
been a lot of grinding, just getting by, trying to recover from that Wendy's whatever the hell that was.
There's the sauce, the
exactly.
chicken mutts sandwich. But I got to give him credit because it did pull apart just like they show in the commercial. When I did it when it was hot and fresh.
I have to ask you, and I get it. It's a trend on TikTok and Instagram, and trends on TikTok and Instagram don't always have rational thinking behind it. But is there anything cuisine wise to that? Like, what the hell does it matter? If the cheese pulls, like, what is it? Just a tool? Like, is there anything food?
Strictly a social media, Instagram, TikTok phenomenon that became a thing when people like Food God, who is, I guess, the guy that was on the Kardashians, they just started, it used to be all about the flavor and the taste and the quality of food. Now it's all how it photographs or, what kind of cool things can you do with it. And the cheese pull became one of the big moves of all these restaurants and chefs and people trying to make a splash, and how far it could go apart. It's kind of, remember, in the playgrounds of Brooklyn, we would load up our jaws with bazooka gum. We'd put in 5 or 6 pieces and see who could blow the biggest bubble, because it would be pretty cool when you get this bubble that's bigger than your head, and then it would explode and go all over your face, and then you'd have to get a chisel to peel it.
Exactly.
It's not very pleasant, that part. But the cheese pull is just a ridiculous, I guess, one more way that the world has gone to hell and just pride its substance. I mean, style over substance and flash over reality.
Well, because for me, that's always, at least in my life in the past, it was always a pain in the ass, like pain in the butt. But you can say ass, but pain in the butt, like eating a piece of pizza and the cheese does this.
Yeah. I mean,
it wasn't a negative, but it wasn't a positive. It was like,
some people like to go the whole distance, but I like to use my teeth. You have these things called incisors that go on with a little sharp edge. You bite down on the cheese, you pull it apart, it snaps away, and you don't make a whole big mess. So, hey, I got something cool coming up today that I have not mentioned. I got 2 cool things coming up. One I mentioned on the Facebook group because I'm going to a party. They call it the White Elephant holiday party. Have you heard of what a white elephant is? I guess it's a gift exchange, but it's not a simple gift exchange. It's where people who show up, and we've been commanded, and this is a old gang from the Sun Sentinel, and I'm still friendly with all of them. And Gretchen, we love Gretchen because she's one of the co-founders and admin of Let's Eat South Florida, and she's also the managing editor of the entire Sun Sentinel now. But she and a whole group of us, we get together. We're doing it at a pizza place, not the Pizza Spot, but another one, this Patio Pizza Bar in Flagler Village up in Fort Lauderdale. It's become a nice trendy place, nice outdoor terrace area. So we're going to show up there. We're all supposed to show up with a gift that's $10 or under. And so I posed the question, and I want to make mine kind of food, wine, or kitchen cooking related. I was asking people for suggestions of, something for one of these gift exchanges. But the twist is, the white elephant is, you get the gift, you open it, and if you don't like it, or actually when somebody else opens it, they could steal your gift, or you could exchange what you open for another gift. And I think it's up to 3 times. It gets very convoluted. Luckily, we have Doreen Christensen, who used to be the shopping maven. She keeps tabs of how many times people are allowed to swap out their gifts. Last year, I ended up, or the last time we did it, I think it was last year. I have such a bad memory. I ended up with this jigsaw puzzle of a guy, an artist that I had no idea who it was. He had this big afro head. Bob Ross. Does the name Bob Ross mean
Of
anything?
course, yes. You
I
don't know
must live
Bob
under a
Ross?
rock. I don't know Bob
Really?
Ross.
Because when I
He
was
was the
growing up, it was you would have Reading Rainbow, you would have Fat Albert, and then they would also show the guy with the fro doing the painting, and that was Bob Ross, but it was
right.
old, so I figured it was because it was like
He's dead. He's been dead a long time, but apparently his estate still makes mint by his sales of his paraphernalia. Apparently, he did this PBS show for a while, and they keep
years.
replaying it, and he never made a cent from the PBS show, but just by having the PBS show, everybody knew him except me. I guess when I came of age, it was like that wasn't on when I used to watch
Yes, it was between your era
Zoom
and
and
my era. It
Sesame
was like
Street. Yeah.
I think it was done in the 70s and it was shown in the 80s and the 90s is when it was really
Yeah.
shown a lot.
So I got the Bob Ross jigsaw puzzle last year. And I got stuck with that. I had something else. I had a bottle of wine, and somebody snagged that for me, and I ended up with the Bob Ross jigsaw puzzle. I probably regifted that to the Salvation Army or something. But I was kind of trying to come up with something for tonight. I said I put it to the group. Something food, wine, cooking, gadget related, $10 or less. And I said, please, nobody suggest a dozen eggs from Publix. That will not fit the bill. But I'm getting all kinds of the typical. Usually, I do bring a bottle of wine because you could
I was
get.
gonna say
something
wine
for
and
about 10.
cheese. Or
Yeah,
wine.
I mean wine. And of course, Sam from Primo Liquors says a bottle of wine from Primo's, and some people are saying go to any liquor store. I try to do something a little more creative, but we'll see. And Gretchen just says, I hope it's something delicious. So we'll see about that. Meanwhile, the second part of my day, actually earlier, when I'm going to right after the show, I haven't signed any NDAs, so it's not like I can't mention it, but I'm not going to mention specifics. But I've been invited to a local eatery and that friendly with us, and actually have done a show there with him. But he certain Food Network show with a spiky haired host with the initials, with the show with the
Got it by
initials
now. I get it.
DDD, triple D.
Okay.
They're filming. They're doing their next season, and now that a certain guy lives in South Florida, he's been hitting some South Florida spots. Actually, 6 South Florida eateries are going to be featured, I hear, in the
What?
next season of Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives, and they're doing the filming at these various locations this week. And I've been invited to the day where the man himself shows up. And I guess the rules are 10 to 12 people are invited from the restaurateur, and we kind of hang out and watch the filming. And I don't know if they talk to us or not. I'll try to hang out in the background, but that's one of those offers I can't refuse because I've never seen the actual filming of the show. I've known people who have been on the show and heard all about it, but I'm not going to mention who it is. I think I've heard 3 of the 6 places that are going to be featured. Hopefully I'll be able to find out some of the other ones, but it's always exciting when you get featured on that show. It's those double-edged swords because, if you think you've been successful and have had some good, local publicity and gets a following, that's nice. But then once it's on that show, watch out
You
because
hammered him.
really start lining up, and you got to be on your game and make sure you keep your quality up and train your staff and all that stuff. But I don't think the shows are going to actually air until he usually films them in December, and it's usually either in May or sometimes they drop episodes in September. So we'll see that later on in the year, but it'll be exciting to get out there. So that's
I should give you a banner to hang in the back. South Florida Live. Let's eat South Florida. I don't need you. I love you, but I don't need you there. We need
just need the banner. I have a feeling the producers would frown upon such blatant promotions, so I'm not even going to try. They'll throw me out in the first minute, which might happen anyway, but that's okay.
Enjoy.
That's later today. Hey, let's talk about our friends. Visit Lauderdale. The Greater Fort Lauderdale wants everybody they want to welcome everyone under the sun for every dish and every flavor under the sun. That means all you foodies out there. Culinary explorers, cocktail connoisseurs, craft beer aficionados. Come one, come all. Get ready to savor every moment because we've got it all here. And as you know, today's World Cup shows, Morocco's in. Well, there's Moroccan restaurants, Dar Tagine up there and Sunrise. Then there's obviously many French restaurants around town, including the ones we love, like the Escargot Bistro there on Commercial Boulevard. Voulez-Vous Cafe is up nestled in that area of Wilton Manors near where the Alchemist is. And down on Las Olas, there's La Bonne Crepe and some other French restaurants. It's all part of our great world-class culinary scene. Come stay and play here. More than 4,000 restaurants in the area, from dockside dining with breathtaking views, lively cafes along Las Olas Boulevard, and award-winning chefs all over the place. You just come here and you can explore and taste not only the great food, but all the delicious cocktails, the breweries, the Visit Lauderdale Ale Trail, hidden speakeasies, rooftop bars, expert mixologists serving up all kinds of great drinks. It's a never-ending culinary celebration in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and everyone's invited. So for more information about the latest events and deals, go to visitlauderdale.com.
And for more food talk fun, we bring you Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, coming to you from our, I don't know about man cave. I don't know. Mine's a disaster right now. His is sort of a man cave.
It's my home office. It's just a mess. It's a mess. I cleaned it up before COVID, and now it's just gone to seed.
We'll bring you more of our mess after this.
You like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. We're back on the Lunchbox. We got a couple of more minutes. The big game coming up. Sarni wants a prediction. I predict penalty kicks, and I'm rooting for Morocco. I know Joe's got the France-Argentina final, but that's kind of predictable. I'd rather get the upstart Cinderella story in there and then see what happens. But what about you, Lubie? Any prediction?
I think France wins. I think Argentina isn't going to get to face an underdog in the finals. I think they're going to have to face a Goliath.
The champion.
But I am rooting for
Morocco. Be the best, beat the best. All right, it'll be a good matchup.
I've been there and I enjoyed it, but I root against the French. I mean, the French are that's why I root against them every chance I can.
So, hey, we got to put in the good word for our friends, the Studiales, Tropical Acres. It is a Wednesday. It's still a great time to go into Tropical Acres. Although Monday, Tuesday is the half-price wine night. Wednesday, you still get half-price drinks and all kinds of great deals at the bar during happy hour, 4:30 to 6:30. It is the best deal in town. I know, because I'm living proof, or barely living proof, because I got hammered the other night for less than $60, a bottle of wine, a couple of cocktails, and all kinds of good food. You can't beat those kind of prices, and the value and the quality and the service. The hospitality is unmatched at Tropical Acres. Again, the holiday menu this year, a little bit tricky. They're going to be closed on Christmas Eve and open on Christmas Day from 1 to 8 p.m., And again, you can make a reservation by going to tropicalacres.com or call them up at 954-925-2500. They're at 2500 Griffin Road, just west of I-95 and the airport in Dania Beach. But again, Christmas Eve closed, Christmas Day open. They still have availability, open 1 to 8 p.m. for their Christmas dinners. So make it the easy, stress-free holiday. And then they're going to be open New Year's Eve, which is a Saturday night, and closed on New Year's Day, which is a Sunday, which is their usual day of rest at Tropical Acres. Go in there, tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Get the finest selection of steaks, chops, seafood, and more. They also have pastas in there for those who are like a little bit something different. A delicious pasta that they mix a little bit of a surf and turf with some shrimp and tenderloin. I've had that before. It's very tasty. But my usual go-to order there is the prime rib, the filet mignon, or the rack of lamb. But you get whatever you want. It comes with a salad and a side. They don't cut corners there. They give you a real good deal. Tropical Acres. Tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. All right, so I think the last thing I wanted to say today is I wanted to mention that Defo I saw posted some conch fritters from the Bahamas.
I was gonna say conch is a big thing. You don't like conch fritters?
I hate conch fritters. I've never had a good one. He said this is the best one he's ever had. To me, it always comes out too doughy and these little flecks of conch. And conch is like chewy to begin with. Like if you get a good conch salad or cracked conch, and then the conch is the star of the show. And it's done right and tender, I really like that. But when it's little chopped up bits and it's like in a fritter and they're like the conch itself,
you don't really taste conch. It's all dough.
I think it's a stupid, pointless dish. So it figures that Defo would post his favorite conch fritters ever. And you know what? I think he ventured off the reservation and went to some like actual hole in the wall, authentic, run by Bahamian joint somewhere.
They have a lot of them
on the streets of
Nassau. You can find them. You can definitely find them.
Not Freeport, Nassau. He's in Nassau. And so we'll have to query him more about that later. All right. And I'm going to do a spoiler alert. I actually did buy my white elephant gift item already. Okay. And you know what? It was supposed to be $10 and under. Because I got it at Publix, I blew it by 29 cents, actually 30 cents. It was $10.29 for the item that I purchased. Can you guess what it is, Mike Lubie Lubitz?
Oh God.
Should I keep it as a spoiler until tomorrow?
Yes.
So yes, all right.
You may watch.
Yeah, I don't know if Gretchen or any of the crew actually watches.
I'm hoping they watch
monstrosity. So I'm gonna make it as a cliffhanger tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow from Grandpa's for the answer of what I purchased at Publix for $10.29 to gift as my white elephant prize at tonight's holiday party. The old Sun Sentinel features gang, most of whom no longer work at the Sun Sentinel.
I was gonna say none of you even work at the Sun Sentinel.
It's funny because I think the feature staff is down to like 5 or 6 people, and most of them can't make it tonight. So it will be basically a Sun Sentinel party without any Sun Sentinel.
Yeah,
that's it. But all right, that's gonna do for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back more. We'll be back with more Lunchbox tomorrow.
Hanukkah extravaganza from Grandpa's.
Yes,
tomorrow.
Hanukkah. And meanwhile, enjoy your couscous. Go Morocco. And Sacre Bleu. If the Le Bleu ends up winning again, fine. They're a very talented team. I mean, what's his name? Mbappe. He's
Mbappe's good. And Giroud is good. They're actually very loaded.
But what I forgot to say is like how. Yeah, I guess I said it, but it's like I'm still baffled that why does anybody think Messi belongs on the whatever they call the strikers? It's not the strikers anymore. Inter Miami. Why does he belong here? He's still playing at a high level.
He's 35, and I think he wants to. I don't think it's a Ronaldo situation where like no one's picking up his contract. I think he's choosing to end his time overseas. I think he wants to spend time here. And Beckham, I'm sure, is cool with him, and I'm sure he's going to pay him an arm and a leg.
Beckham, like, is there some under the table money coming from Saudi Arabia? Oh, I forgot. Saudi Arabia is already paying Messi a boatload to help bring the World Cup to Saudi Arabia in 2030. So maybe he's got all that money, and now he can just have some fun. He wants to make it big in America, which that happens. So you know what? We'll take him. It'd be fun if we can see him next year at Drive Pink Stadium.
Actually, him coming would make me care. And trying to make fun of me for not caring because it's literally in my hood. It's the one professional franchise in my city. I don't care. But Messi's there. I will care. I'm not gonna lie. We will have to watch.
He would be a draw, and in a town like this, you need some draws. So
Exactly.
it's going to be intriguing. Okay, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Remember to enjoy yourselves and enjoy every sandwich.